Welcome to the Seahawkers Podcast with your hosts, Adam Emmert.
Aaron Rodgers can't be the number one player in the league. He slipped last year. He did. I can't blame him. He's probably distracted by his super hot girlfriend. Like, I understand. He's got other things.
And Brandon Schultz.
We need to be more encouraging of Pete Prisco, Adam. We need to help him along. Good job. You had Russell in the top 50. We've told you many times to do better, and now you are. We're proud of you, Pete.
Go Hawks!
On a quest to own the West, yippee-ki-yay, we make the ground shake. On game day, 12 man, yeah, he's feeling it is vital. The Seahawks coming to take division titles.
Welcome to another edition of the Seahawkers Podcast. I'm Brandon Schultz, member of the Military Seahawkers, joined by the inaugural member of the Montana Seahawkers, Adam Emmert.
Hey, man, I wish I was in Montana at this point, but no, in Pensacola, Florida. That's where I find myself today.
Now in Florida, home of where people's faces get eaten off by...
And pythons.
And
pythons. Don't forget pythons.
Yeah. Equally as scary.
I'm afraid one's going to swim out of the toilet and eat me.
You're more.
You never
that's
know.
more likely to happen than to have your face eaten off by some drugged up weirdo.
I think it's 50-50. I think it's 50-50.
It could be.
I'm concerned, but I'm here for 2 weeks. So, hooray, humidity.
Hooray. Yes, that is not something we're used to from Montana. I don't know how you folks deal with that humidity stuff.
I don't either. And, well, at least we did find out a little bit more this week of how the Seahawks are going to deal with this upcoming season. A new game with slightly different results than maybe the Kansas City game. I don't know if you have any more concerns or anything like that coming out of this game or not, Brandon, but definitely a little different vibe for, I think, both of us after watching that performance.
It's a little bit different vibe, and while the concerns are different than really what I thought the concerns were going to be coming in through preseason, right? Because we were all worried about the offensive line, and one nice thing, again, I felt like the offensive line, it felt like, I don't know, it felt good again, especially the interior defensive line. It seems like that trio of Fetty and Justin Britt and Mark Lewinsky is going to be that trio in the center of the offensive line come the start of the season. I feel like we've seen what we're going to see, and that's what we're going to get. It's the outside part that we're maybe not so sure about.
They seem to be three of the best five right now.
Right.
I think that's pretty clear. Bradley Sowell didn't have nearly as good of a game this game as he did the previous game in week 1 of the preseason, but still serviceable. I mean, he still looked like an average NFL left tackle.
Which is better than how he looked in Arizona, because he looked below average.
Right. So I felt okay about that. I thought, Gilliam did just fine out there on the right side as well. I mean, nothing too crazy. I understand they gave up 4 sacks, but we've all heard ad nauseum now that Russell Wilson was a little bit at fault for a couple of those, and a couple of them were coverage sacks too, where I don't care how good of an offensive line you are, if the secondary covers everybody up, then, where are you going to throw the ball?
Well, and
there's nowhere to go.
Let's talk about it for a minute, because maybe people haven't heard that, after the game, Russell Wilson took 4 sacks in the game. And Pete Carroll comes out after the game and says that Russell Wilson could have done a better job on it, with 2 of those in particular. And one of them, trying to get away from, just Everson Griffin is a pretty good defensive end, and he's fast, and he runs down Russell Wilson from behind, which we're not very used to seeing.
Apparently, Russell's not used to seeing it either, because he didn't just throw the ball away. Just throw it away.
Throw it away.
You're out of the pocket. You're out of the tackle box. Throw the ball away.
Yeah.
Just throw it away.
Yeah. And maybe that's just part of what preseason is, right? Getting your feel for the game back, and knowing that maybe some of those guys can run you down if you're not going full out like maybe you would during the regular season. So those are types of things where you see, and it's good to see them in the preseason, because they can be fixed later.
Well, I mean, at least you hope so.
You do.
We're not used to seeing Russell take sacks within the pocket. I know somebody had tweeted at me during the game. I'm sorry, I'm totally blanking on your name, man. I've been on a plane for like 10 hours today. But but basically, he tweeted me, and he was like, are you seeing a loss of elusiveness for Russell Wilson? I was like, no, I feel like it's more the idea that this Vikings defensive line is a very athletic one.
Yeah.
And so when they're able to kind of turn that corner and get after the quarterback, it's tough for Russell to get away. And, one of those sacks too, he kind of he actually stepped up in the pocket, as we've all been trying to get him to do for years now, and as he did towards the end of last season. And as the coverage never broke open, then he was forced to try to run after stepping up in the pocket, and there's really nowhere to go. So that's kind of the downside of stepping up into the pocket rather than scrambling out. So no, don't get too mad at him there. That's what we've all been after him to do for years, plus Coach Bevel and Coach Carroll. So I don't know. I thought it wasn't the offensive line I felt like played okay. Now, the one thing that it kind of has me a little worried is you got Tom Cable coming out today and saying, you're going to see a bunch of different stuff next week. Why am I going to see a bunch of different stuff next week? I like what I've been seeing now. Can we just stick with crap that works? Like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Is that crazy?
It's not crazy. But I don't think Cable is crazy at this point either. This is the third preseason game coming up, and if you've heard anything about the third preseason game, every single year you hear people on TV say this is the dress rehearsal. Right. Just like they talk about short area quickness, they talk about how preseason game number 3 is the dress rehearsal for the regular season.
So we're going to do a bunch of different stuff?
I see where you're going with it, but at the same time, this is a really good opportunity to see where to make sure you have the best 5 guys, so you can maybe rotate in a guy like Reese Odiombo into those starting 5 and see how maybe Reese stacks up if you put him over at right tackle, or if you put him at left tackle up against the Cowboys starting line. They're having all kinds of problems on the defensive line, so maybe that gives them a little bit of confidence. But if they can't do something against a Cowboys defensive line that seems to have the struggles in the preseason, then maybe there's room for concern, and back to second team they go.
I guess I'd just like to see the same dudes go out there and get some more continuity before the start of the season. I mean, I understand we're getting Jamarcus Webb back.
Yeah, you're gonna get Jamarcus Webb back.
Yeah, and whoop-de-doo-dah. To me, it's like, great, we get Jamarcus Webb back, but he's proven throughout his career to be so-so at best. So, I got guys that can function right now, and it's not like you're bringing back an all-pro and plugging him in at right tackle and being like, well, let's see how it goes now. You're bringing in a guy that, for his career, has struggled at right tackle. He's had one good year at right guard, not right tackle, and we're going to blow up all this continuity to see what he's got at right tackle in the dress rehearsal? Come on, man, just stick with it. You don't have to be a genius mad scientist week in, week out. This isn't rocket surgery. This is offensive line. Just put 5 dudes out there that can play.
Yeah.
Russell isn't getting killed. I like that. Let's stick to that.
But then you don't have your highest paid offensive lineman on the offensive line, Adam.
Well, that didn't seem to bother the Seahawks when they made their highest paid quarterback sit on the bench for an entire year when Russell Wilson started. His rookie year. So I don't think that factors in.
All right. Well, let's look elsewhere on the offense. That's going to be something to watch. And what if those 5 guys, or whatever combination you see, I feel like I can be good with the 5 guys that we've seen. We can make that work. And I see what you're saying. Why mess with it when it seems like it's working? Let those guys figure it out, go through the season, see if they can all stay healthy all together at the same time. And that would be a big plus for a Seahawks offensive line to be able to do.
Yeah, it would be great. I just want to see that. But there's other bright spots on the offense throughout the game. Tyler Lockett looked good. Had one pretty spectacular catch where Russell Wilson just laid a dime out to him, 31 yards.
1st and 18 now, back at the 8. Russell with 2 backs in the backfield, but one of them is Luke Wilson, the tight end. Kristen Michael, the other. Russell takes a snap, has time, looks near side, going to throw the ball. Lockett's got the catch across the 35-yard line. Wrapped up by 2 Vikings. An absolutely perfect pass by Russell Wilson right down the seam to the youngster Tyler Lockett.
Yeah, Russell Wilson doing Russell Wilson things in the preseason. Always good to see.
He was throwing some dimes, man. Even though the first-team offense hasn't really scored much, they have moved the ball quite a bit. I feel good about where they're going. And just, again, giving up a few of the sacks and then a few of the penalties in this game, it really made it difficult for them to get going and really, really score. But those are things that you can clean up, and I think they will. Can we talk about Kristen Michael? The real deal? Kristen, the real deal? Michael? Can we talk about him a little bit?
I feel like we should, because he is starting to feel like the real deal. And this is crazy to me. I
took a giant chug of the Kool-Aid during that game. I gulp. I did.
I know. I don't know how to feel about it.
He switched hands and everything. He switched hands and everything.
He switched
2 games in a row.
Two games in a row. And not only was it on an outside run where he was switching hands, you saw that one where he busted it up the middle, where Glowinski just laid out the lineman that he was blocking. And he switched hands in the middle of that run up the middle. He looks like he knows what he's doing. And it's awesome. Like, this is the guy that we've been hyping up for years and years and years. And it feels like we're finally seeing the guy that we've been hyping for this long.
This is a great backup plan, this Kristen Michael thing. I love it. Because if Thomas Rawls, for some reason, can't be the guy he was last year, we've got this guy.
I think he's still going to be the guy.
He even caught a nice pass out of the backfield. You think Kristen Michael's going to be the guy?
No. I still think that Thomas Rawls is going to be the guy. But
me too.
when you have a guy like Rawls was last year, and then you have another guy like Michael, this could be exciting.
Could be very exciting. It's a good thing we have Michael, because Alex Collins might want to erase this game tape. He might want to go and steal all the game tapes from all the coaches before they review them and burn them. Just light them on fire. Not a good showing for Alex Collins.
Alex Collins might have been my biggest disappointment of this game. And a lot of people disappointed by the fact that the first team offense still hasn't put any points on the board. That can be a little bit disappointing. I'm not so concerned about that. Alex Collins, when he comes in on 3rd down, 3rd and 1, goes nowhere. Then they're on the other side of the 50 and decide to go for it on 4th down. Give it to Alex Collins again. Can't get a yard on 4th down. This is the role that I envisioned Alex Collins being able to play in, and I just haven't seen him do it yet.
Well, and the troubling thing is, later on in the game, on 2 consecutive plays, he whiffs on a blitz pickup, accounting for one of the Russell Wilson sacks, and then the very next play drops a pass that would have moved the sticks.
Yeah,
like, he had a rough game. A lot of minuses on the play sheet there for him, but I mean, we'll see. He'll bounce back. It's one game. I mean, that's all there is to it. But with Kristen Michael looking good, I mean, that's got to concern Alex Collins a little bit. I mean, that was kind of his spot to win in a sense.
Sure.
But at this point, not looking great for him. Not a good game. He looked like a rookie that game.
But the thing is, if Alex Collins is at all concerned, he can just look at the fact that the Seahawks carried Kristen Michael on the roster and was a healthy scratch in games for an entire year. And the Seahawks held on to him, waiting to get better. And it's paid off for him. So maybe Alex Collins, maybe that's the role that he ends up slipping into.
Well, and Kristen Michael was a 2nd-round draft pick, not a 6th-round draft pick.
5th, yeah.
5th, okay. Unlike what the Vikings announcers seem to think, that he's an undrafted player, which they said over and over and over again throughout that game. They couldn't get it right for the life of him. He was undrafted all game.
That's Thomas Rawls. That's the guy that we didn't have in there.
Yeah, I don't know. They got a lot of things wrong. But so yeah, rough game for him. But maybe that's more those 3rd and 4th and shorts, those stuffs. Maybe that's more an indictment on the fullback position, because you saw the Seahawks today go out and pick up none other than Mr. T.
That's right.
I pity the man who gets in front of him.
Get your mohawks and your gold chains ready, because it is time to pancake some linebackers.
Here's what I got for you guys this season. Are you ready?
Okay.
Tukuwafu. See, I can say it now.
Whoa.
Tukuwafu. Tukuwafu, Tukuwafu, Tukuwafu. See, I got it.
And it only took you 3 seasons. Well done, sir.
Only took me 3 seasons, but he's back. I'm back. I got his name down. I'm excited for Mr. Will Tukuwafu.
Hey, one guy's name that you probably won't have to worry about saying, Ryan Robinson. Remember when I brought his name up a couple shows ago?
Yeah. Didn't he host American Idol sometime or something like that?
Something like that. No.
Yeah.
He or Ryan Seacrest. I don't know.
Oh,
he may as well be down hosting the Olympics, because I don't even think I've seen him on the field.
I have a few times. I haven't seen him do anything. Yeah, that was one of those dudes that kind of got hyped up a little bit, but hasn't really shown out in games yet. I mean, It's tough, man. NFL's hard. Football's hard. Like, I'm not mad at him. I'm just saying it just might not be working out for him.
But instead, another guy coming back. You mentioned Mr. T. There's also Tony McDaniel back with the team. And thanks to a social media post that got him a tryout with the team.
This is hard for me to be excited about, but it is true fact. Snapchat brings Tony McDaniel to the Seahawks. And kind of a funny story. I actually told this to my daughter, who was trying to explain Snapchat to me because I asked her about it just because of this very story. I'm like, how does the Snapchatting work? And I still don't quite understand, but that's fine. But anyhow, somehow that landed Tony McDaniel in for a workout, and just went from going on a kayak outing in Leavenworth to on the Seahawks roster in a matter of a couple days.
Yeah.
Like, how awesome is that? Like, I'm eating chips right now on the couch. I don't think I could go and just be a defensive lineman, like come off the street.
Does it have you
Pretty
reconsidering the Snapchat thing? And like, maybe Adam the Rant needs to be on Snapchat.
I'm not, but see, I'm on the other things and I don't use it. So I'd just be on it and I just wouldn't use it.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, it'd just be a whiff. It'd be a waste. So anyways, but he did look good, did he not?
He did.
Like pointing at the bicep and the whole thing.
Yeah,
like,
he had his old celebration back. It was just like having Tony McDaniel, a guy on the interior defensive line for both Super Bowl appearances by the Seahawks. He wasn't on the team last year. They don't go to the Super Bowl. Maybe this is the Tony McDaniel rule and not the Seahawkers podcast rule.
Shut your mouth. Shut your dirty little mouth. That's not what it is. But this is a sneaky good signing, Brandon. This is a sneaky good signing.
It is.
And I think this spells the beginning of the end for Jordan Hill.
Yeah.
That's what I think this spells.
He's had a rough go. He's kind of, this is his contract year too for Jordan Hill.
Yeah, and can't stay healthy.
Yeah.
And even when he is out there, hasn't produced a ton. Hasn't been stellar for him. That's for sure.
Yeah. I would like to see him.
He's one of my boys, too.
I know. You've hyped Jordan Hill like as long as I can remember since he made it on the team.
From the day he was drafted.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, no, not looking great for him at this point. But, I think Tony McDaniel is a quality signing. I think that'll help. I think you saw the Seahawks play the run a little bit better in this game. But, hey, Brandon, this pass rush was supposed to be good, right? Like, right?
Yeah. Well, but you don't want to give everything away in the preseason, though. Like, you just don't want to show it, right? Because that's at least what I keep telling myself. Like, I know we're supposed to have a good pass rush, and we haven't seen it, but that doesn't mean it's not there, right? It's like, I don't know, who's that dude? It wouldn't
kill you to get a sack in the preseason. it wouldn't kill you. You know what I'm saying? Like, it wouldn't be the worst thing.
Isn't that Rams player that was on Hard Knocks that says he doesn't believe dinosaurs existed because he's never seen it? This is the same thing. Like, just because you haven't seen a pass rush from the Seahawks doesn't mean it doesn't exist.
This is not the same thing. There's no science that tells me otherwise. Okay, like dinosaurs.
Some statistician just went back in time and planted those sacks by Michael Bennett and Cliff Averill into the record books. They all right. If you didn't see them, they didn't actually happen.
You may have some facts, reason, and logic on your side here. All right, that's fine. I'm just saying that's one thing that's got me a little concerned. Like, it's not so much that there's not sacks. There's not a lot of pressure even.
Yeah.
Like, guys, like Sean Hill had days to throw the ball. And thank goodness the cover corners are great on this team.
Yeah.
And there's so much depth there. That's it's saving their bacon right now.
Yeah, see, maybe the Chris Richard just doesn't want the pass rush to be that strong, so we can test out those guys in the secondary and see how Kelsey McRae holds up and see how Bobby Wagner holds up against tight ends, because that doesn't seem to be working either.
I was just going to ask you, remember in the past when like covering the tight end was a problem? Do you remember that?
Always.
Remember how we were? Yeah, remember how we were told like we got a plan?
Yeah, isn't that why Brandon Browner got re-signed to this team? Wasn't that his job? Yeah. And have we even seen Brandon Browner in the game when Kyle Rudolph was catching passes? I swear I didn't even see him out there.
No, we're still getting chewed up by tight ends, and maybe they're saving it for the season, like their big plan. I better hope so, because that still is very between little flat routes to the backs and tight ends up the middle, up the seam. And teams are still just chewing us up there, man. If Sean Hill choose you up there. You got problems, man. That dude looked like he literally got done at a kegger and like went out and played quarterback.
He probably did.
He's fat. Yeah. That dude's fat. Could get pressure on him. Chucking it up to tight end.
Yeah.
Killing us.
That's all he needed to do. Yeah. Vikings win 18-11. Gosh. But you know who was fun to watch? Trevon Boykin. Yeah. Trevon Boykin was fun to watch.
He wasn't the only dude with a T with the first name that was fun to watch. Boykin and Pope were fun to watch. Troymaine Pope.
Troymaine Pope, a lot of fun. With the first
we'll talk
touchdown.
More about him, but
he was the guy that got the Seahawks on the board in the first place.
First and goal at the 4. 2 receivers far side. Boykin takes the snap. Pope looks for running room. Bounces it outside left. He's going to go in. Touchdown, Seahawks. And this is getting to be a habit for number 26, the rookie out of Jacksonville State. This time he bolts over the left side for 4 yards and a touchdown after his 2-point conversion a week ago wins the game for the Hawks.
Pope was a fun guy to watch, too. Out of all the running backs, did you think that Troymaine Pope, apart from Christian Michael, would be the best looking back on the Seahawks?
Well, I wouldn't have foreseen that I wouldn't ever see CJ Prosise, like that I'd never get to see him. And I wouldn't have foreseen that Alex Collins couldn't gain a yard. I also wouldn't have foreseen that a dude who just got rid of a job working in some sort of car part manufacturing plant and got a call from the Seahawks would be putting up 8.6 yards a carry in the last game. No, my Miss Cleo ball was broken. I didn't see any of that coming. But man, he's quick. He's got some cool elusiveness to him. I really like him. And look, if he doesn't make the Seahawks, he's making a squad somewhere. That boy can straight play.
Yeah.
He can play.
He can play. And if he doesn't make a team, he's going to be on the Seahawks practice squad.
I hope so, man. I hope so. At least. I
hope so.
How can he... Look, I hope he's pushing CJ Prosise to be the third down back.
Yeah.
Because he's got it, man. He's totally got it. And I love the kid's story. I love his heart. I think it'd be awesome. But let's get back to Boykin, though. You did bring up Boykin. Boykin is fun to watch, isn't he, man? Like you joked at one point. Like, somebody needs to let him know, like, he's made the team.
Oh, I know exactly the play that I made that joke about. It was when he dived into the end zone for the 2-point conversion.
For the 2-point conversion for the Hawks to make it 11-8. Pope the single setback. Wing formation near side. Kaysen moves over. Play fake. Boykin's going to run. He's going to dive. Does he get in? He does. The 2-point conversion is good. Trevon Boykin is developing quite a name for himself as he goes up and over. The 2-point conversion is good, and with 12:49 to play in the game, the Seahawks are back in it thanks to number 2 and his offense.
Boykin was doing gymnastics all over the field. We've been watching gymnastics as part of the Olympics all week. He's out there doing pirouettes, but in the backfield and just making defensive linemen look silly, just like we see Russell Wilson do. And then he did a cartwheel into the end zone on that play.
Yeah, he did, man. He was he looked every bit the athlete that everybody has said that he is. And look, I think he's definitely solidified the job as the number 2. I feel good about him, man. I feel real good about him. Now, I understand he did throw the pick 6 that effectively ended the game, but it felt like he was bringing him back, though, too. He's got a little magic to him, and I like Boykin a lot. I think he's a perfect fit for the number 2 position.
Oh, he darn near brought him back even after the pick 6. So
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. And again, another good learning moment for a young guy in a game that you just can't do that. Throw it out of bounds, throw it to where the receiver can't get it.
Right.
And just do that. Don't do what you did. Yeah. Just do that.
Yeah. But again, teaching moment, correct?
Yeah. And a young guy, that's a lot of people wondering why we aren't seeing a lot of Jake Heaps in this preseason. I think the team has already made their decision.
Yeah.
Boykin is going to be your backup quarterback, and that's why they're going to try and get him as much work as they can in the preseason, and because he's going to need that experience if it comes to the point to where he has to come into the game for a short time.
No, you're 100% right, and that's the whole plan. You can see it now, no doubt about it. So, I like what I'm seeing out of Boykin a lot. I like what I'm seeing out of the secondary. Secondary played another solid game for the most part. I mean, short of the tight end stuff, but again, I don't know if that part of it too is like vanilla scheme in the preseason too. Like, how much are we really going to show?
Yeah. So what are you going to be looking for going ahead as we take on the Cowboys coming up this week? Obviously, with Cable's comments about the O-line, that's going to be a thing to watch. Is there anything else? Now, the Cowboys, they have a tight end. They have a tight end who's pretty good. Mm-hmm. Are the Seahawks going to be able to turn that around? And are we going to see the plan with Brandon Browner or whoever they decide is going to cover tight ends now?
Hard telling, not knowing. I guess out of all the evidence I've seen in the history of this franchise, I'm going to go with no. No, we're just going to get torched there. That's what they're just comfortable giving up.
Should we just accept that? Should we just accept that as Seahawks fans that yes?
I don't know, man.
Tight ends and little passes to little running backs.
Yeah, I mean maybe that's only maybe that's what you just have to come to peace with it because apparently the freaking coaching staff has.
It could be that every defense has its weaknesses, and that might just be what this is.
I want to see if that defensive line has another good showing against the run. I think that's big for me because they did play well against the run in this last game.
Sure.
I want to see how many snaps Jordan Hill gets in some of those guys along the defensive line, kind of see how that rotation's looking. I think I want to see a little more Deshaun Shedd outside, and this is a good receiving core and a good quarterback to go up against. So just to see if, is this really the guy we're going to go with as our starting right corner? And it's kind of looking that way so far, with Lane being our starting nickel corner, which he's awesome at, and I think he earns every bit of his money that he got this year doing that. I don't know. Is Cam projected to be back this game?
That's a good question. It sounded like he was close to being back last game. It sounded like that was the case with a couple guys, and I was kind of starting to get the feeling like we might see Rawls out there for a little bit until I saw Coach Carroll's comments that he still sounded like he was saying that he's a couple weeks away. It seems like they're just fine with him coming back in week 1.
Well, and it also sounds like Jamarcus Webb is coming back. So let's see that and all the different things that we get to see this next week. Thanks a lot, Tom Cable. Keeping it exciting. Appreciate that.
I think he's just looking for the best 5 guys, and this will be the one.
They should
game.
be found by now. We shouldn't be looking anymore.
Well,
they should be found.
That's true.
Yeah, this is the time.
Well, maybe they're also going to be finding who's going to be those second team guys. Who's the best? Where is the cut down going to come down on that offensive line? Are they going to keep a full 10 guys? Are they only going to keep 7 or 8? Now, that's going to be an interesting question. One thing I'd like to do, Adam, maybe next week, I don't think we've ever done this before, but give kind of an initial prediction on the 53-man roster. I don't think we've ever done that.
Ooh, yeah, no, I've never done that. Okay, I can do that.
Okay.
But, yeah. But, the one thing is that maybe to the Seahawks, this feels early for them getting down to their top 5 guys because they didn't do it till week freaking 8 last year.
See, Tom Cable he's learning just like everybody else. He's moving up his hope to find his time frame. Yes, his schedule to find these guys, and it's going to be week 4 in the preseason this year.
I want it now, like a petulant millennial. I want it now.
I want it now. Well, Adam, we have a conversation coming up with Sam Smith, who does the Military Seahawkers blog. But before we do that, I think it's time for another installment of Prisco's World because, Adam, Prisco has to stop the nonsense. And
I don't know that he does because he has his own theme music now. I think he has to continue the nonsense.
It's time for another edition of Prisco's World.
La 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 la, la 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 la, Prisco's World. La 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 la, la 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 la, Prisco's World. Prisco has his hot tastes and nothing more. That's Prisco's World.
I feel like I should be eating cotton candy when I enter Prisco's World.
You should. Either that or chasing down the ice cream truck, one of the two.
Yeah, one of the two. Oh, what happened in Prisco's World this week, Brandon?
Well, Pete Prisco was on the Jim Rome show this last week, and And of course, Rome knows what a crackpot Prisco is when it comes to his thoughts on Russell Wilson. So
takes one to know one.
I don't know about that. But Jim asked the question, and Prisco's sticking to his same ridiculous script, Adam.
Like I tell all the Seattle fans out there that come at me on a regular basis, good, not great. And he could be great, but right now he's good, not great. He's improved as a pocket passer. He understands the game a lot better. He doesn't leave as quickly as he used to. He's getting better, and that's all you had to see from him. Look, all that running around stuff, that goes away. You have to be able to make the plays in the pocket, and I think he's grown up a lot, particularly in the second half of last season as a pocket passer, but he's still not great. Even though everybody wants to rush him up there, he's good, not great.
Good, not great. Over and over.
My Lord, did Pete Prisco decide to put on his Donald Trump impersonation? I'll tell you this about Russell Wilson. He's good, not great. I mean, good, not great.
That almost sounds more like Bernie Sanders than Donald Trump, Adam.
You're right. All right. I might have to redo that one at some point. But you get what I'm getting at. Just tremendous. It's the best. I mean, come on. He's good, not great. That's your big assessment. He's good, not great.
Well,
you're an idiot.
I looked through some of Prisco's stuff, Adam, and this good, not great thing, he says. Apparently, it's Prisco's version of do better. It seems like this is what he hangs his hat on as his thing. Good, not great. And the thing is, I went back and let's take a look at some of the people that Prisco has called good, quote, good, not great. First guy I bring up, AJ Green, an outstanding wide receiver for the Cincinnati Bengals. According to Prisco, though, good, not great.
Unbelievable.
Frank Gore, former 49ers running back, now with the Colts. In Prisco's mind,
future Hall of Famer.
Yeah, overrated, over the hill, and quote, good, not great. Here's another one.
Wow.
I think there's a theme here, too. This just isn't a quarterback thing with Pete Prisco. Wide receiver Larry Fitzgerald, future Hall of Fame wide receiver for the Arizona Cardinals. Good, not great.
Is there anybody who's great, not good? I mean, is there anybody that's great in Prisco's mind? Like Brett Favre,
he was
average.
Okay. Well,
fantastic.
Speaking of Brett Favre, one of the guys Brett Favre threw to, Sterling Sharp. This is the guy who I just could not believe that Prisco said was good, not great. Sterling Sharp, a great wide receiver for the Green Bay Packers, the first NFL player with back-to-back 100 reception seasons. 5-time Pro Bowler, retired after 7 seasons because of a neck injury. This is a guy who I think will eventually be a senior finalist for the Hall of Fame, much like Kenny Easley is. Prisco says he doesn't deserve to be in the Hall because he's, quote, good, not great.
I wish that Prisco was even good at his job, not poor.
Yeah.
Because that's what it is. He's poor, not good. That's what Pete Prisco is. Poor, not good. God, this guy stinks.
Well, and not to that would bother you enough running down those names, because that's good company for Russell Wilson, right? Like all those guys. If Russell Wilson is good and those guys are good, then Russell should be very happy with the company that he's in.
Everything you just said there, for when he goes, oh, every time I talk to the Seattle fans and they just need to come to terms with it, or whatever it is that he said, he's just good, he's not great. Look, everything you just said there backs up every Seattle Seahawks fan argument when they go up and say Russell Wilson is indeed great, because you don't know great if it bit you in the catfish. You have no clue. We're talking about Fitzgerald. We're talking about AJ Green. We're talking about Sterling Sharp. We're talking about Frank Gore. We're talking about Russell Wilson. Man, give me those guys as my starters in their prime. We win back-to-back-to-back Super Bowls. That's what happens. That would be, you know what that would be? It wouldn't be good. It'd be great.
Well, let's look at the other side, Adam. Let's look at some of the other players Prisco considers good, not great, just for reference, just so we have reference of other good, not great players. First guy I bring up, Roman Harper, safety with the Carolina Panthers. He's had a good career, right? Career, a couple of nice Pro Bowl seasons when he was with the Saints. But how many people think this guy is great that you need to remind us that he's good? Yeah, he's a nice player, but nobody's confusing him for a future Hall of Famer.
No, I don't think so. But a very solid player. Yeah. A really good player.
He's good.
Yeah. I'm not taking anything away from his game, but yeah.
No, but nobody's out there saying Roman Harper, future Hall of Famer.
No, he wasn't changing.
So you don't need you don't need Prisco
for
saying, no, he's good. He's good.
Yeah, I don't need his reminder.
Yeah.
No.
Another guy, Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins had a good season last year, right? But when you're a guy like Kirk Cousins and you have Pete Prisco putting you in the same category as Russell Wilson, I think you need to reevaluate your naming conventions of your categories. You can't just put good as a label on Cousins if you also have a label of Russell Wilson being good. I'm saying I'm willing to say that Kirk Cousins is a good quarterback, but who out there is banging the drum of putting Cousins among the elite quarterbacks?
Certainly not the Redskins, because they didn't let him get paid this year.
No.
They don't think he's great either.
No, they say prove it. Let's see you do it one more again. Let's see you do it again. Can you do it again? Let's see it.
Yeah, I mean, it's like Jamarcus Russell and Troy Aikman in the same category to Pete Prisco. Like, they're both good, not great.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, would he say that? God, he's such an idiot.
And my number one guy, you'll get a kick out of this, Adam. A good, not great. According to Pete Prisco, Dwayne Bowe. Apart from when Dwayne Bowe was playing...
He's not even good!
That's what I'm saying. Except for when he was playing wide receiver in college at LSU. When has anybody ever said that Bowe was a great receiver? They might say that he has the potential to be great, but at his best in his career, what would you call him, Adam? Serviceable?
Mediocre. He's never been better than mediocre.
So
I know that for a fact because he was never better than mediocre.
The fact that he's used his same good, not great phrase with Bowe, and at the same time using it with guys like AJ Green, Larry Fitzgerald, and Sterling Sharp, that should be an insult to anybody who enjoys football.
Oh, no kidding, man. I don't know what they drink on Prisco's World, but man, he's drinking all of it. Yeah. I know that.
Yeah, it's time for Prisco to retire his good, not great phrase. It's old, it's tired, it's not funny, and it doesn't make any sense.
Your phrase is way too long. It's time for Prisco to retire. Period. And a statement. Stop polluting the world with your garbage.
Yeah.
All right, man. Well, we also had a nice conversation with Sam Smith today, who writes the Military Seahawkers game recaps. Cool dude. We've had the opportunity to meet him a couple times. I like Sam a lot. Had a nice conversation with him about the last game and some of the things that he observed. I think you guys will enjoy.
And we now welcome on contributor to the Military Seahawkers blog. He's been helping us out, writing recaps of the games for the past year. Also, a longtime listener of the show, flight operations specialist for the Army National Guard, Sam Smith. Welcome to the show.
Hey, guys. How's it going?
This is good. I feel like we're having a little mini hangout because, Sam always comes on our Patreon hangouts, and here we are, but it's just the three of us.
It is just three of us. Very intimate. How you doing, Sam?
I'm good, Adam. How you doing?
Awesome, dude. So you watched the game last night, or at least got to partake in it a bit. Not exactly the same effort that we saw from week one, but just overall, I mean, do you feel okay still, or did that rattle you a little bit? What do you think?
I think some of the most interesting quotes kind of came from Pete Carroll after the game, where, Wilson kind of jumped on the grenade and said, hey, a couple of those sacks were on me, because I kind of felt in watching the scene unfold. I mean, we like to give Justin Britt a healthy amount of criticism, but he was, doing some double teams and stopping guys from coming in the gap last night. And it was actually those blitzers just coming off the edge, similar to what happened in the Carolina game in the playoffs last year. People just not picking up the blitz, and then he was just trying to scramble. And I think there's enough tape out there now for teams to realize how to kind of keep Wilson contained. And we're beginning to see that already in a bit of the preseason. So it kind of worried me a little bit, especially when he takes 4 sacks in the first half and he's still playing. It's just kind of like, can we pull him? Can we just put Jake Heaps or Teron Boykin out there? But, decent showing so far. I think we all thought the offensive line was going to be a big dumpster fire. And so far, there have been things that need to work on, but that's no different than last year. So it's good to see so far.
Yeah, it does feel like we're ahead of last year, actually, because I remember back to last preseason, and there was the big shakeup after a couple weeks. Now we don't have healthy tackles. It seems like, when is Jamarcus Webb actually going to be ready to go out there? Once we're able to maybe see a little bit of him, maybe we'll have a little bit more of a feeling as fans. The team probably already knows what they're doing, but we have another exciting part of this team that's coming together in the running game. Maybe not so much beyond Christine Michael, but how about Christine Michael?
He has looked a lot better. And I hate to sound cliche, but everyone's talking about how mature he is and everything. I mean, maybe him just putting Michael Sr. on his jersey was him just kind of coming out with his final identity and trying to say, hey, this is maybe my last shot. When you go to teams like the Cowboys and get cut, and then was he with the Redskins or the Browns? One of those two teams, and he got cut from that too. It's very difficult. And in a team like Seattle, you've got to kind of fight to make it, or you become that guy who just kind of got discarded. And I mean, look. Just how Byron Maxwell, for example, is. I mean, he was a guy, he had a pick in the NFC Championship game against Green Bay. He did some stuff in the first Super Bowl, and then he goes to Philly, and everyone just tears him apart. And now he goes to Miami, and everyone is still down on him. It seems like people who leave this team are very unable to find success in other schemes, and then to still maintain that level of success. And then I would say probably self-worth.
Well, he's kind of crushing it here. I mean, I'm just looking at his stats over the first two games, and 17 rushes for 99 yards. He's averaging 5.8 yards a carry. That is an astronomical number. That's even 0.2 of a yard higher than Thomas Rawls averaged last year. I mean, the idea of these two guys as a 1-2 punch, I mean, that makes me feel a lot better considering the passing game has struggled a little bit in the preseason. Although Wilson's hit some good throws. I thought the Wilson to Lockett connection, I mean, we saw that come on towards the end of the year, and holy smokes, man, there is a couple throws in this last game that were just unbelievable.
I'm going to piggyback off what you said about that, Adam. You know how Cincinnati has that 1-2 running back combo with Gio Bernard and Jeremy Hill. One is sort of the between the tackles, downhill runner, and the other one might split out of the backfield, might catch some passes, but is generally a serviceable back as well. And if you play fantasy, it's a conundrum. You don't know who to start from week to week. But if you're a defensive coordinator trying to figure out who's going to get the ball, if both of them are in there, it actually makes things a little difficult. And it was great to see Michael split out for some receptions. And even he got a reception last night, I think 1 for 9 or 10 yards, something like that. Mm-hmm. So is he going to be the Cinderella story of the team this year? Probably not. He's the preseason hype right now. I think there will be someone else that might come along and kind of steal a little bit of that thunder from him. But I'm excited to see what he's doing just because we haven't seen this, and it's great when other NFL analysts and everyone in the media is saying about how mature he is and how this is how Pete Carroll does it. This is how he works people. This is his magic. And, it's another talking point.
Well, let's move over to the defense, Sam. Anything that you saw from the team that either surprised you or even concerned you?
Well, it seems like they have a pretty good plan right now going at safety, moving Kelsey McRae and then the other backup safety. I'm spacing on his name at the moment. But it seems like they're trying to get some more exotic packages, which I think was one little nick that you could have against Chris Richard the first year, that he wanted to put his own stamp on the defense after what Quinn and head coach Gus Bradley, mm-hmm. right? They all kept kind of the same scheme, and they changed a little bit. And then it felt like when Chris Richard came in, the players last year were talking about how they were getting different signals and things like that. So it was really good to see that there wasn't too much loss. But, that first preseason game, I mean, Spencer Ware is just running through the tackles like he knows the plays. And, he's getting deep into the backfield before anyone can kind of stop him. And that obviously kind of worries me a little bit. I thought that the addition of Salaga from the New England Patriots, I thought that was going to add some depth back there, with Mebane leaving. Mm-hmm. But there seems to be some sort of confusion there in the immediate backfield right now. And I'm not really sure what to feel about that. Again, it's only, week 2 of the preseason, but we'll see what happens.
Well, one of the breakout stars that I thought has been something that's very interesting to me, one of those guys, the Cinderella guys that you talk about, Brandon and I were actually texting back and forth about this during the game last night, is Tremaine Pope. Like, I kind of like this guy, the backup running back. I don't even know where he's from, how he got on the team, how he got the name Tremaine. Yeah, but he's averaged this last game. He averaged 8.6 yards a carry, had a touchdown. The one score. I think he's leading the league in scoring, or leading the team in scoring over the preseason. I really like the looks of this guy. I think this is one of those guys that maybe can, at the very least, jump up and end up on practice squad.
I agree with that, and I think that he might even have a chance, honestly. I mean, everyone's going to say it's never going to happen, but for an undrafted guy to come out of Jacksonville State and challenge Alex Collins, who went to a D1 school, for production. Like, I mean, when I was at training camp, I volunteered for the Seahawkers, and then I was there like the next day, kind of watching all of it. I wasn't really that impressed by everything that I saw from Alex Collins, and I think it's translated a bit into the game because he missed the block, obviously on that linebacker that just took Wilson out, but it looks like he's a little hesitant, and he looks like he tries to wait for something to kind of happen. Where I feel like Kristen Michael's like, hey, I'm going to take your face off, and you're coming with me. And, Tremaine Pope is like, this is it. Like, I have to do this. Like, I'm going to take this ball right up the gut for a 2-point conversion so we can win this game and shock the home team. Or I'm going to take this 27 yards to the right because I think that this is the weak side and that's where we're going to go. He's just showing a lot more promise and potential. And I don't think a lot of other teams pay attention to undrafted free agents. Every time the team signs an undrafted free agent, I pay attention to them. I Wikipedia them. I look up everything I possibly can because these people are going to be either like flashes in the pan and they're going to be gone, or they're going to be someone like Thomas Rawls.
It's fun.
Or Doug Baldwin.
That about the undrafted free agents because I had my daughter last night and she's watching the game with me and she's just busting my balls all game about everything football, just making fun of me. But I mentioned something about some Vikings players, like I'd probably be the only play he ever makes in the NFL. Some undrafted dude that out of nowheresville, right? And she's like, well, why is he even out there then? This all seems so unfair. And I was like, well, that's what's cool about the Seahawks is you have the most number of undrafted free agents, rookie free agents that have made the team out of, I think, any other team in the league. And they have so many starters that are undrafted free agents. And they have that ability or that opportunity for these guys to come in and really do make the team just based off of their performance. And it's, to me, that's one of the cooler things about this team. And it is something I watch right along with you, Sam, because there's always one or two, right? Every year, the undrafted free agents that pop up and somehow make the team. And maybe they're not long-term prospects, but I think right now, between Tremont Boykin and Tremaine Pope, those are two guys that I'm looking at. I'm thinking they've got a real shot. Obviously with Boykins, how are you liking the way Boykins has played over the first two games?
For some reason, I thought that Jake Heaps was going to come out because I thought he might have had a different experience. And then I think in that first preseason game, he went like 3 and out in like 30 seconds. And I was like, oh man, like 3 incompletes back to back to back. Like, what are you doing? And then Boykin just kind of comes in and just authors the drive. And it's the same feeling I felt last night when, all right, we got a minute and a half to go. And all the pundits online are talking on Twitter like, oh, this is more time they had last time. And then they move down the field. They get a penalty. They get set up. And I'm like, they're on the 5. Like, they're going to do this. And then it just kind of falls short. And it really stings a little bit. But I think for Boykin, I don't really think he should have dove front flip like Cam Newton style.
That's why after he did that, I sent a text to Adam. Somebody needs to tell Boykin that he's already made this team because he doesn't need to be doing that.
He's got the job. Just chill, dude.
Yeah. But it's good to see that style. Obviously, Wilson, he hasn't missed a practice or a game, so you don't worry about him getting injured that much. But you never want to have to change a scheme so drastically from the starter to your backup. And I think so far, Boykin, coming from a spread offense, I think he's doing really well with the Seattle Seahawks.
No, and it's like Adam said, it's really exciting when you have undrafted guys that have the opportunity to make the team. And Tremaine Pope just seems like he appreciates the opportunity maybe more than a guy like Alex Collins. Or I get. And that's part of the hard thing about the preseason is like you make up these stories in your mind and you get attached to guys like Tremaine Pope and then maybe they're like Rod Smith last year who ends up going to the Cowboys. And because it seems like whenever we try and get a pretty decent running back to the practice squad, some other team snaps him up. We watched Spencer Ware, who was a cut from the Seahawks a couple years ago, having success with the Chiefs now. So for some reason, the Seahawks are able to find these guys. And I just wonder who it's going to be now that we're seeing Thomas Rawls and Kristen Michael have success. Who's going to be that third or fourth guy?
It's a very good question. And Justin Forsett, too.
Yeah.
Former Cal guy, right? Marshall Lynch teammate. He was on the team for a little bit, and then he had some success. So that kind of goes back to what I was saying earlier about how teams really they're not really siphoning off the talent. A friend of mine said the other day that Seattle's backups are starters on a lot of other teams in the league, and some people may balk at that, but it really is kind of getting that way, like you point out with Rod Smith.
Well, Sam, the last couple of weeks we've been talking about expectations for the Seahawks team. What are your particular expectations for Pete Carroll, Russell Wilson, and the Seattle Seahawks this year?
I've seen a lot of the sports writers talk about how 11 and 5 seems like a real safe route to go, and I'm going to go against that a little bit. I don't think that after seeing the team down the stretch last year, after all the effort they put in, after the late bye, after waiting 6 weeks or so to drop Kerry Williams, I don't think they're going to kind of do that. And I think that this year, having their earlier bye allows them to clean up all of those mistakes that they might see or they might have. And it's a lot easier to do that in week 5 than it is halfway through the season, almost towards the end of the season. And I think, honestly, this year, I think 12-4 is what I expect out of the team. I think that the only games they're really going to have difficulty with will be the New England game, the Carolina game, maybe. But I really don't see them putting up too much of a fight. And then one with the Rams and one with the Cardinals. I don't see the Packers being an issue this year, even with a full receiving core. And I think that even with the back and forth traveling that goes on during the middle of the season, I honestly think that having that early bye is going to be very beneficial for the team.
See, I like that. I like a little bit different take on the early bye because a lot of people don't like it. But I like the idea that you kind of look forward to it as being a time to turn some of those things around. If for say that the offensive line maybe isn't what we thought, and you don't have to wait until week 8 or like you mentioned with Kerry Williams, there's maybe some fixes that can be made. I like the way you're looking at that, Sam.
I just think it's important that obviously when we're in the season, 16 weeks kind of flies by. It's almost too short, but when you look at all the offseason additions, when you look at the fact that the new offensive line has got to come together and gel, maybe waiting, like let's say, Justin Britt doesn't work out at center, waiting until week 9 or week 10 is not the time to change that out. You know what I mean? If Patrick Lewis is going to play or Joey Hunt, then they've got to figure that out, I guess, sooner rather than later. And with so much turnover, I think if you just kind of get it going early and if there's any mistakes, you nip it in the butt at an early bye, then you can streak maybe a little bit earlier, and then maybe kind of lock up the division or maybe try and fight for home field advantage. Well,
Sam, one of the things you've been doing for the Military Seahawkers that I really appreciate is writing the weekly recaps that go out to folks. What got you started in blogging in the first place?
I realized that because I didn't know enough about the game, and the reason I even started paying attention to football a few years ago was to sort of kind of connect with my dad because he played football a lot in high school, and then my fiance's father. Once I started kind of really getting into that, I just found that the more I read about it, the more I wanted to write about it, because I feel when you write, you have to know what you're saying, and people can, say, hey, well, you were wrong in this thing, and you didn't get that quite right, and it's that kind of criticism that works really well. For me, I think doing the game recaps is just kind of a way to give back. Obviously, I know what it's like to be, deployed to a location, AFN's not showing the game, and you're like, oh my God, I have to watch the Redskins game. Ugh, okay. But it's like the only meaningful football on, and you're like thousands upon thousands of miles away, from your home. So you're just like, all right, we'll do it, I guess. It's camaraderie. So it's really nice to be able to just put a game recap out there. It goes out with the newsletter, and I hope it, reaches people and that they're excited if they can't catch the game to sort of kind of get a once over what happened the next day.
Well, I'm really glad you came on, Sam, and kind of give a little bit of background for some of the folks that may get the Military Seahawkers newsletter, see your weekly recaps, and kind of get a sense of who you are. The one thing I really like, because there's, if you're overseas, you can get online, you can go on NFL.com, you can read the recap there. But the thing that I like about having another military person, write it for, it's just that experience of here's another fan telling you what's important to him watching the game, as opposed to a reporter that may or may not know the team very well. You get there's just a lot more passion I feel like comes across when it's just another fan enjoying it and writing for the fun of it. So I appreciate you doing that.
Thank you very much.
All right. Well, thanks to Sam for coming on this week's show. Before we go to break, let's hear from Clinton Bonner on what he has planned for the next edition of 3 In, 3 Out.
Sounds like a plan, man.
On this week's 3 and 3 Out, the Seahawks have us singing. It's a little bit happy, it's a little bit sad, it's a little bit good, and it's just a little bit bad. But I think you'll enjoy the 3 and 3 Out this week that we read exclusively for the Seahawkers podcast. You're going to have to read the article to find out why the heck am I talking about CNC Music Factory, and who is this pontiff that keeps scoring touchdowns for our Hawks. So dive right in, don't worry, be happy, and of course, go Hawks.
The Seahawkers podcast is the official podcast of the official booster club of the Seattle Seahawks. Getting into the second half of the show where we've got your emails. We got some new members of the flock, Adam, and
some. Yeah. Man. Quite a few.
Quite a few.
You guys are amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, that was cool to see. So we're gonna have a good sized patron league. It's looking like I'm excited about that.
Yeah, and it can be bigger too, man. And again, the more of you that do it, the better we can make the prizes, and we can even extend the prizes down, even past like a third place prize. We can get down to fourth, fifth, sixth. Enough of you join. I mean, we can buy a lot of cool swag.
Yeah.
So get in there, get in the flock, and so what is that? Getintheflock.com.
Getintheflock.com. That's how you can get there, or go to SeahawkersPodcast.com and you can follow the links there as well.
All right. See if you guys can beat out Brita Milk pancakes. I don't think you can do it. But anyways, it looks like the preseason has everybody fired up. And just watching some games get people fired up. And we've seen the 12s even just this last week at CenturyLink be fired up for a preseason game. And to put that into perspective, Brandon, I'm watching this last game with Isabel. Now, before it came on, we watched a little bit of Eagles-Steelers in Pittsburgh, right? And she's like, why are you watching this? And I had it on mainly for background noise as I cooked dinner and stuff. But, wanted to see some things that were going on. And looking around the stadium, and it was basically empty.
Oh, yeah.
There was nobody there.
You saw that in the Chiefs game.
Nobody there. And so, Isabel's making fun of me about, what is the point of these preseason games? Rah, rah, rah.
Yeah, nobody cares. Like, nobody even goes to the games.
Nobody cares.
Why even do it?
I was like, and she's like, and nobody's even there. Look. And I was like, okay. You take a mental snapshot of that, kid. You take a mental snapshot, and in an hour, I want you to look at the way the clink looks at the beginning of the game coming up here. I didn't even have to have her look at the beginning of the game. I made her wait till the end of the game because it was still full, and the 12s were making all sorts of crazy noise.
Yeah.
The difference couldn't be more illuminated by those two things.
Yeah. No, it's clear that preseason in Seattle is very different than preseason at any other. And it hasn't always been like that either. Yeah, we talk about having amazing fans going back all the way back to the 70s, right? When you look at some of the videos of the Kingdome, you can go on YouTube and see fans getting, warned about being penalized for how much noise that they're making back when that was a rule. And it was pretty fun to see. So the making noise thing goes back a long time, but I've been to preseason games where it's been sparsely attended, and the way the fans show up now for the preseason is incredible.
And that's why if anybody calls you a bandwagon or a fan, I mean, come on, look at how this fan base performs. We outperform every other fan base. Sorry, we do it better. Call us on your name you want. We're better than you. We're the 12s. Suck it. That's how I feel about that.
I somehow I don't think that's going to help the case at all, though.
Doesn't have to. It helps my case. It helps our case. We don't give a crap what they think. That's the entire point. They can think whatever they want. And to further the point of how passionate the 12s are, we had a lot of people donate through the Patreon this last week and join up and get in the flock, and that was super cool.
Yes, very cool. So welcome to the flock to Zach Shives. He's down for a sticker in all our bonus shows with the $1 donation. Welcome to the flock to Jessica Trevino. I've seen her on Twitter for quite a while, and I know I've sent stickers her way before, and now she's joining the Patron Pick'em League. So that's cool. Welcome to the flock, Jessica. And Aaron Sweet, also joining the exclusive Pick'em League. Welcome, Aaron. Ray Ingram. Welcome to the flock, and welcome to the Patron Pick'em League. And then Martin Hutchins, another longtime listener. Martin, welcome to the flock.
Yeah.
And then we got a couple people joining our Facebook Ring of Honor. Shane Roberts, Welcome to the flock, and also to Diego Reed, also joining our Facebook Ring of Honor. Welcome, Diego. No more Daves this week, though.
No more Daves, but I think...
Do we have all the Daves?
Maybe not,
Okay.
but we don't have Dave Craig yet.
No, that's true.
That.
Maybe he might not listen, though.
Not yet.
But if Dave Craig, if you are listening and you haven't joined the flock, you should join our patron league, if nothing else.
Yeah, definitely, man. Or at least donate a jersey or something. Come on, bro.
Yeah. That would be a good prize. See, then I would be winning. Although the Steve Largent jersey is
you'd have to pick right. See, that's the problem with you winning is you have to pick right.
I would do a much better job of picking, I think, if those were the stakes.
Are you saying you haven't been properly motivated in your picks throughout 2 years now?
I pick to have fun while I watch. And I don't necessarily pick who
Hello,
you
play to win the games.
I do the same thing with fantasy football, though. I play fantasy football to how I'm best going to enjoy the weekend of watching football. And if that's wrong, then maybe I don't want to be right.
No, maybe not. But man, I think that puts us about halfway to our goal, roughly, to the point to where we would start doing post-game recaps right after the game each and every week for you guys. So that'd get us up to 2 shows a week. So again, if all y'all just do $1 a month for perpetuity here, every one of you listeners, if you guys just did that, we'd easily get you 2 or 3 shows a week. Easily. You guys rung the bell this last week. Let's keep going. Let's get there, man. Because we want to, you know what we want to give? A shout out to Jalen Rose. We want to give the people what they want. That's what we want to do.
Well, and we are going to be, it's the time of year, Adam, where we're doing a full show and then a bonus show. So we're doing 2. Let's see if we can get
plus
to 3.
Google Hangout?
Plus Google Hangouts. Yeah. But if we get to the next level, then we're doing game recaps immediately post game. And we know people would enjoy that too. So.
Yeah. But anyways, thank you so much to all you guys that donated this last week. Welcome to the flock. Very cool.
And speaking of the Pick'em League, Adam, we got an email from Wango of the Wild West. That's at Wild Wango on Twitter. I want to support the show and join both Pick'em and fantasy games that you have. Please provide me with detailed instructions on how to sign up. Unable to follow a few links, so need a little guidance. Now, I'm going to put this, Wango, in the show notes for the podcast, so you can either go to just click on... you can go to SeahawkersPodcast.com, click on the title of the latest show, and you can see down at the bottom it'll have links for where to go for all of the Pick'em leagues, where to go to sign up for the Get in the Flock, and then I'm going to make sure we have a link on the front page as well, so you can get to so you can find those out, because we have the free league, the Seahawkers Podcast League on NFL.com, and then we have the exclusive patron league. And then we have the Picks and IPAs League for the people that listen to that show too. So it's we're if you want to sign up for all of them, you can.
Yeah, man, you won't be sad about it. You won't be sad about it.
And to those who have donated through Patreon, you'll be getting the link. And if you haven't seen it, if you go onto Patreon, you should be able to see the previous post of the link to the Patron League and the password to get in there. So, all right, next email. From Mike from Portland. Adam. Oh, this was actually a text that came in.
Says, a text on the hotline. I like this, too. I like that people have taken note to the hotline this week.
Yeah, 253-235-9041. You not only can you call in, but you can also text. And, that's a good way to reach the show as well. Adam, I love how you complain about shoddy journalism and rant about clickbait articles. But you keep clicking them. You keep clicking them. What's the deal? There's a simple way to not ever have to read or watch that garbage. Don't click. By doing that, they will get fewer clicks and maybe eventually not get paid to post clickbait. Thanks for your show. I look forward to listening to it every week, even when Adam rants about something that is within his control. From Mike.
Now, here's the thing. Mike, you are absolutely... right, and I have no argument, man. Sometimes you guys call me out, and sometimes you're wrong, and I'm going to let you know you're wrong. But don't bother me with your facts, logic, and reason, Mike, okay? Like, you're 100% right, but I can't help myself. It's like it's like if I don't click on it, I may have missed something that I'm supposed to bring to you guys on the show. That's my excuse. It's not a reason. That is totally an excuse. He's right. You know what, Mike? Here's the thing. You're right. I'm wrong. You're the best. I'm the worst. You're good looking. I'm unattractive. You're smart. I'm dumb. You're right. That's all I got, man. He's right.
I feel like I've been telling you the same thing over and over, and I finally have some backup.
But I don't listen to you.
I know.
Yeah.
It's true. It's like I'm the parent, and then Mike, your best friend, comes in and says, dude, you can fix this. And you're like, oh, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, no. It's exactly how it is. Mike's my best friend.
Yeah. Here's one from Mark. Hey guys, from Niner/Raiderland here. Really enjoyed the show during the offseason. Thanks for a huge range of topics, regular features, and bundles of optimism for the upcoming season. A while back, you asked listeners to share stories of how they became Hawks fans, so here's mine. We moved to the U.S. from the U.K. in 2008, and our first ever NFL game was the Hawks versus Niners at Candlestick that year. By chance, we ended up sitting with most of the Hawks fans in the stadium, including a guy in a suit made of material with Seahawks written all over it, and a similarly dressed ventriloquist dummy carrying a sign saying Hawk Daddy. Is he a well-known character? And actually, I know Hawk Daddy, so
you do know Hawk Daddy?
Oh yeah.
No, I was not familiar.
Oh
okay.
yeah, If you're at games, you'll run into Hawk Daddy.
Oh, okay.
Anyhow, sitting with him and several hundred other Hawks fans enjoying a 34-13 win, we started following the team, even though it proved to be a so-so season that year. So-so is putting 2008 season nice. Yeah. Prior to the draft the following spring, my 10-year-old son wrote a letter to Seahawks coach asking him to pick Michael Crabtree and recommending a few other players. 2 weeks after the draft, he got a personal letter back from the coach and some signed stickers. Okay, so the first-round pick was Aaron Curry. The coach was Jim Mora, and the stickers were signed by T.J. Houshmandzadeh.
Oh, man. That's a trifecta right there.
But
That's hilarious.
It was a great touch.
That's so cool, right?
Yeah. Certainly impressed my son, and from that point on, we've been locked in as Hawks fans. We go to a game each season, nearly all in Seattle, and nearly all victories. It's been great to follow them during such a good era in their history. Long may it continue. Many thanks for putting together each and every show. Love the humor, football banter, and opinionated commentary on the NFL, Hawks, and beyond. Here's to a fantastic season coming up. Go Hawks!
Go Hawks, man. Hey, thanks, Mark. Appreciate the email. That was a fun story. Thanks for sharing, man.
Yeah, we got a couple of PSs, too. He's the proud owner, general manager, coach, and tea lady for the Patreon League entry. That's a damn offensive line. And he also said, thanks for the tip-off on the Pedestrian Podcast. Nice to get another perspective on the Hawks.
Oh, awesome. Hey, didn't we get an email from a fellow who's thinking about getting rolling there in Canada, too?
Yeah, we did. We did get an email, and I'm going to respond to him and hopefully talk to him on the phone.
Yeah, directly.
Directly. But
I was just saying that was super cool.
Yeah.
And we also had somebody email in about the idea of maybe not doing so much an Australian Seahawkers podcast, but just at least getting more Australian Seahawks fans together. So that was pretty sweet too.
And actually that's in this next email here. Says, hey guys, it's been a while since my last email. This is from Al down in Melbourne.
Oh yeah, it was Al. Okay.
Yeah. Been a while since my last email, so I thought I'd check in and say hi. I have loved having the weekly shows throughout the offseason. You are pretty much my only source of Seahawks news during this long, tough time, so thanks for all the work you do and getting the shows out every week. While you guys joked about getting media passes into training camp, I think it's a feather in your cap for the great job you both do. Especially for fans who may not follow other Seattle teams, ESPN Seattle can get a bit boring, especially in the offseason when it's mostly Mariners talk. So it is great to be able to rely on a chunk of Seahawks-only news each week. After hearing last week's show, with everyone predicting a Super Bowl run, I can't wait for the season to start. The Monday morning ritual.
Go to the Super Bowl.
That's right.
We're going to the Super Bowl.
You can have a more this show, too. The Monday morning ritual of waking up early for East Coast games or streaming at work for the West Coast games is just around the corner. I'm pleased to say that the annual pilgrimage to the Clink is on the cards for the third year running. I will be at the Falcons game mid-October. I have Thursday through Monday trip booked which includes seeing Jared's Broncos at Chargers on Thursday night, a wedding in San Diego on Saturday night before a 6:30 a.m. flight up to Seattle on Sunday for the game, then back to Australia on the Monday.
Solid.
I know, that is a solid trip. For any other international listeners or fans who haven't been to a game, I cannot recommend the experience enough. Last year, my wife came with me to our games at Dallas and versus Pittsburgh as part of our honeymoon, and she is now hooked on the Hawks too, which is great. Baldwin's 75-yard touch.
Put a ring on it.
Well, he did.
I know. Do it again.
75-yard touchdown to seal the win over the Steelers was the moment she got hooked, I think. I am very excited about the Rams being in L.A., as this will make a week-long trip for a game in L.A., then up to Seattle for the following weekend, a great option for us fans down under to see the team. Seeing road games in the past 2 seasons at Dallas and San Francisco really made me appreciate how special this team and this great fan base is. After you spoke to the UK Seahawkers and put the call out to Canadian and Australian fans to put a podcast on, I was curious how many downloads you have from Oz. Australian football is getting more and more popular over here, but I'm sorry to say you rarely meet another Seahawks fan. I have no other skills with Facebook, etc., but if there are some Australian fans out there who want to start at least a Facebook page and maybe would try to catch up sometime to see a game, count me in. Thanks again, guys, and go Hawks.
Go Hawks. Hey, thanks for the sweet email, Al. Dude, I'm serious about his trip being solid, though. Like, that's a heck of a deal. Chargers, Broncos, wedding, Hawks, Falcons, home.
I know. The fact that you can get in 2 games on a trip, that's a solid plan.
Dude, he's killing it. He's absolutely killing it. But I don't know why not. I don't know the Australian numbers right off the top of my head here, Al.
I took a look at them. The Australian numbers we get about around 20 to 30. It's probably on par with about the German Seahawks fans. So
okay.
Not quite as high as Canadians and UK, because we usually get in the up in the 200s, I think, per show for Canadians and for the folks in UK. So
yeah. So, but hey, why not?
It's a good number.
Maybe, yeah. You'd start your own niche, man.
So yeah, a call out to any of you listeners who are Australian and want to start a Facebook page. Yeah, start a little Facebook group. That'd be fun.
Yeah. I mean, nearly 10,000 Australian downloads since we started the show.
Yeah,
that's all I'm saying.
Well, they're diehards. They're yeah. Well, moving on. Thanks for all of the emails, and we have a call. We have a call, Adam.
Oh yes.
And
all right.
And first of all, I'm not really sure why we're still talking Pokemon Go on
honestly
on a Seahawks football podcast.
I didn't know that when I brought this up, 3-4 weeks ago, this would be an ongoing thing. Well, in the show.
Part of the reason why it's an ongoing thing is I think listeners need to realize that Adam, once you've stated your opinion, that you're not wrong. And the listeners need to realize that telling you that you're wrong, it will not change your mind.
I told Mike just not 3 emails ago I was wrong. I just did that.
That's true.
So you're wrong about me never being wrong.
So you're leaving it open as there being a chance that you're going to change your mind on the Pokemon thing.
There's always a chance. I'm just not often wrong. And I'm not on Pokemon Go. And I wasn't because our man who called in backed me up on my story about Karen in Oregon.
Hey guys, I just wanted to provide a little addendum to Adam's Pokemon Go story out here in beautiful Portland, Oregon. As you may notice, or as you may have been able to tell, I live here, and the town that he's talking about is called Tualatin, and the area he's referring to in his story from Karen, who may or may not be real, but the information she imparted mostly is. The area is called Tualatin Common. There is a little man-made lake there with a big walkway around it and a bunch of restaurants, and there's a hotel there, and it's a pretty nice little area. Got a fountain and everything. There's lots of ducks, real live creatures. And it is indeed a hot spot for Pokemon Go on account of the highly concentrated number of Pokestops. So I find it incredibly likely that there were a lot of people doing laps around the lake, getting their their daily exercise at that particular time. However, I do have one small bone to pick on the angle of mental illness and how this helps folks with depression or anxiety actually motivate themselves to get up and get outside. It's really not an issue of whether or not they want to or can. If you've got depression, a lot of times you need anything. It's the hardest thing in the world is to get up and go outside. So from that angle and that angle only, I will take a strong stance of disagreement and say that anything that can benefit even one person with depression, anything that can motivate those people to get up, go outside for any reason and any length of time is a good thing. Zombies are a bad thing. Nobody should zombie.
So thanks to Cole from Portland. See, clearly he has the point. Zombies are a bad thing.
All right. Okay, zombies are a bad thing. It was Cole, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so Cole does have an excellent point when it comes to depression. Because I've had some dark times.
Remember What About Bob at the beginning of What About Bob, and
Right.
and he had the whole thing that he went through to try and make it outside, and clearly not comfortable going outside.
Right. And which I can relate to. Like, I've had some dark times. There was a point in my life where things were real bad at a lot, like 47 levels. Like, where you'd say you're pretty down, right? And, yeah, the idea that the struggle was real to just get outside for any reason. Okay. I'll grant the people that this gets them outside for that. And just like you said, for that one caveat, that's cool. But all those people doing that thing around the lake aren't depressed. And if they are, then there's something terribly, terribly wrong, like in our society as a whole. So that's all I'm saying. It's just if that is the case, that many people are depressed and that's what it takes them to get outside, then this really is the end of our civilization, Brandon, because zombies.
Because of zombies, yeah. And, that was the thing. I think the lesson here from the movie What About Bob, you didn't have phones and things to get him outside. But once you saw him, get outdoors, get out to the lake. They were down at the lake house. It was hard to do, but it was him enjoying time outside with other people that got Bob better.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, on that exact same note, when I was in that really dark spot like that, you know what got me out of that? Because, it was a little before the phone thing really exploded, right? Like it is now. It was Jared looking at me one day and say, when somebody asks you to do something, no matter who it is or what it is or whatever, say yes to everything unless it's math.
Unless it's math.
that was the advice. Say yes to everything. And I did. And you know what that did? It got me out. It got me seeing people. Got me out of my bubble. Got me out of my shame spiral. That's what it does, man. It helps. And if this helps a few people do that, then it's okay on maybe 10% of the level. The other 90% of the people doing it, stop it. Stop playing Pokemon Go.
See,
it's bad for you.
This has been a good show for you. You've been willing to accept you're wrong on some levels. And I think
I do that all the time.
All the time.
Some of the time.
Some of the time.
Once or twice.
Rarely.
I've done it before.
Well, what do you say we get into some do better and better life, Adam? Because clearly you're doing
Sounds
better.
good.
You're doing better all the time now, I feel like.
Yeah. I'm working on it. So, my do better this week, both mine are going to be short, but my do better this week is a regression for me. This is something that is not me being better on all these things that I'm staunchly against, Brandon. This is me going back to something that I've been against from the very start, and that is emojis. And right now, this do better is for Bleacher Report, because you know where emojis are now appearing, Brandon? They are now appearing in the titles of articles. Like, can the Seattle Seahawks offense be emoji fire? No, just use fire. You have it's
fire
the internet.
emoji?
You have unlimited. You have unlimited characters. You can do whatever you want. Do not use emojis in titles of news articles. That is so unprofessional. What are you in like an 8th grader? Like my daughter? That's what my daughter would write for an article headline. She'd use the fire emoji. You're supposed to be a professional. Can't use emojis in headlines, man. Do better.
Man, you know what? Isn't the reason Bleacher Report even got to prominence is because of search engine optimization? There should not be search engine optimization for emojis. That seems like it would.
I wouldn't think.
It seems like that would take you down a notch.
I think it would. It did take them down a notch. Took them down a notch in credibility, too.
Exactly. Well, they won't be doing better for long if they keep that up.
No. CBS will pull the plug on all that.
Yeah. Well, my do better this week, Adam, is for Ryan Lochte. Now, we haven't talked a whole lot of Olympics. We haven't talked. I have a little bit
watched a whole lot of Olympics.
No, but I've watched a lot of Olympics, and we haven't talked about it on the show. But that's okay. It's football. But the thing about this story that's interesting to me, we probably all lied to our parents, right? The thing is that our parents usually know when we're lying to them, right? That's why it doesn't work.
Right.
Usually, parents are funny that way. They know stuff.
And spouses too.
Yeah.
Children are the same way.
But
you can't get away with it.
But this week we saw what can go wrong when you lie to your mom and she actually believes your lie. And not only believe your lie, but passes it along to the media. And the crazy thing is that Ryan Lochte probably would have gotten away with all of it for not a fluke encounter his mom had with a reporter from Fox Sports Australia. And
that's how this whole thing got started.
Yeah, Sports Illustrated, a dude from Sports Illustrated broke it all down on how this all came about. And they were interviewing another member of the swim team or something, and we're going to the exact same place that she was, and saw that she was clearly distressed, and asked her what was wrong, and told her that she told the story as it was told to her, apparently, that he was held up by gunpoint and robbed. And, however the story got changed around, it doesn't really matter.
Brock and Salk, I think it was yesterday, they talked about this a little bit. And I can't remember. I think it was Salk who brought up the point. And he was like, in this day and age of security cameras and cell phones and Twitter and all of that, you can't get away with this nonsense anymore. You can't.
Right.
Like, to think that you can't. There is somebody with a device that will tell the truth on you out there somewhere. The days of lying about this sort of thing are over. Hoaxes, for the most part, difficult to pull off now. So, in a way, that's one thing technology has made things a little better for us.
If you're the kind of jerk that's going to lie to your mom, why would you lie to her to make her worry more? Wouldn't you be like, we went to the bar and I lost my money, so I might need to borrow a couple bucks. It was nothing to worry about. Lie to her that way. Lie to her in the inverse so she doesn't get worried.
I've told my mom that I couldn't answer the phone because of this or that, and that definitely wasn't the truth.
But you didn't tell her you didn't answer the phone because you were being held at gunpoint. That would make her worry.
No, I came up with something that was, benign.
That's what I'm saying. Ryan Lochte should have come up with something that was benign to tell his mom.
Okay,
don't tell her something that's going to make her worry.
As long as we're all on the same page that we know we all lie to our mom.
That's part of my point. And it backfired on him because he lied in the wrong direction.
He did. Yep, it was the wrong direction.
Adam, this is exactly why that when you're in the Navy, probably any military service, and you're overseas, you get told, look, when you're out, you're out representing the United States. And you can see why in this case, because Lochte not only embarrassed himself, there's a lot of other people in our country who feel embarrassed for him. And for that, Ryan, do better.
He's just always kind of been a douche. All right, man, let's move on to who's better at life this week. Again, mine short and sweet this week. My better at life this week is for a rookie offensive lineman of the Seattle Seahawks, because Pro Football Focus just came out with their top graded rookies through 2 weeks of the preseason. And who comes up as number 3 on the list, Brandon? Joey Hunt, your smallish hobbit-sized center, the man who has to be a tactician at every other level to make it in this league, comes out and it has a strong showing, has ranked very highly. Joey Hunt, the guy who's too small to play. He's too short, just like Russell. Comes out, graded highly by Pro Football Focus over the last couple weeks in preseason. So showing out when it's on the line for him, Joey Hunt, better at life than Skip Bayless.
I like that. Joey Hunt, congratulations. Now, see, I was hoping for a Fetty with it being, just poetic justice of having them ranking him as one of the lowest rate, what did they say? He was the number 1 worst pick or something based off of their rankings.
Yeah. Well, what you failed to ascertain with a Fetty is he's good, not great. That's what you're missing with that.
So a preview of our 53-man roster cut down, Adam.
Mm-hmm.
Does Joey Hunt, does he make the number 2 center?
Man.
You can't keep 3 centers. You can't, right?
I have to go back. I'm going to have to look. But if you ask me as my gut, to go for my gut, yes, Joey Hunt makes the 53 roster.
All right. Well, moving on to my better at life this week, and a guy that I really hope makes the 53-man roster. I really hope he makes it, because after the story this week,
because it rhymes with hope.
It does rhyme with hope. It is Troymaine Pope, and once I saw
my hopes with Pope,
Shield Kapadia's story on ESPN this week, it brings you closer to this guy's story, because how many people out there have had that moment of where they have that dream of what they really, really want in life, and then they come to a moment to where they have to kind of let that dream go.
The crossroads
to take on something that, because you have to make money and I have more responsibilities. I can't just continue chasing the dream because of some kind of responsibility. And that's what happened with Troymaine Pope, undrafted free agent out of Jacksonville State. And in the story by Shield Kapadia says, as recently as a few weeks ago, friends and family were urging Pope to consider alternate career paths. He attended an orientation for a factory job near his hometown of Anniston, Alabama. Pope didn't want to give up on football, but he had a daughter to think about. And that's when the Seahawks called him. And Pope said he just broke down crying. He said, I was working at a car factory, working on cars and putting tools and stuff together for cars. It was just something that I didn't want to do. It was hard labor. I really didn't want to work the job, but I had to provide for my daughter, so I was willing to do anything for her. I'm never going to move on past the game. This is something that I love. My family was just trying to convince me to get a job, but I took a long time to even attempt for a job because I knew this is what I wanted to do. So he had gotten to that point, that crossroads, and he said, I'm going to take this job because this is what I have to do. And for the Seahawks to give him that glimmer of hope now, and just in the second game, rushes 10 times for 86 yards, like you mentioned, 8.6 yards per carry. That's cool that he's getting this chance, and that's the tough thing about preseason is that you hear these stories, you see these guys, and you do have a little hope for them that they make the team. And for that, Troymaine Pope, better at life than Skip Bayless.
So our good friend Stephanie Peterson, she's had mentioned
she's going to be really mad at me for bringing up this story.
There's always that guy, right, that you get attached to that maybe doesn't end up making the team, and it kind of breaks your heart a little bit.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something, man. I am all in. My hope is on Pope. Like I need him to make it, man. I need him to make it.
He looks good out there. He looks. I look back to last year, and you can tell when guys are out there.
Rawlsy, doesn't he?
He does. Rawls looked like he was out there having fun, and Troymaine Pope looks the exact same way. He looks like he wants to make the team and that he enjoys playing the game of football. And you can't say that about everybody out there on the team, that they look like they're enjoying the game. But Troymaine Pope, he does.
Okay, so on our 53-man roster predictions, we can't both have Pope making.
We both can't?
No.
Okay. Are we going to have to like flip a coin to see who gets to have him?
No, we're going to have to have some sort of way to prove who has more love for the Pope.
This will be interesting.
Yeah, I don't know how that happens yet, but we'll see.
Well, we'll see what happens in the Cowboys game to if we really have to ramp this fight up even more.
You bet, man.
All right, well, we will be back next week after the Seahawks take on the Cowboys on another Thursday night game. I'm looking forward to when football gets back to Sundays, Adam, and we're back to a regular schedule.
Yeah, you and me both, man. That'll definitely be awesome for my deal. Hey, I remember earlier I mentioned that somebody had tweeted at me about the elusiveness of Russell Wilson.
Oh, yeah.
I couldn't remember his name for the life of me. Vincent Parker. It was Vincent Parker. Just shout out to Vincent Parker.
There you go.
I just wanted to get his name in there. At Ultra Vincent on Twitter, so check him out. But hey, I'm in Pensacola for 2 weeks, people. 2 weeks I'm going to be dealing with this humidity down in Florida. If there's anybody that's hanging out down in this area that listens to the show, You want to catch a beer one of these nights after I'm done sweating my nuts off in the mill? Let me know, man. I need things to do. It could get real boring.
Yeah,
just,
that's a
like,
long
hanging out
time.
in a
2 weeks
hotel
is a
room.
long time to be just hanging out. I bet we do have listeners there because we have there's a Navy base in Pensacola. Where's all the Navy guys that can show Adam a good time in Pensacola?
Yeah, right. So so hit me up at Adam the Rant.
Those
on
are
Twitter.
usually the
Like,
guys
hit me
that are in the air guys. So the guys that fly planes and stuff,
really?
and those guys know how to party.
Nice.
So
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. They're nearly professional golfers in their partying acumen.
Yeah,
that's for sure. 'Cause nobody parties like the dudes on the PGA. Trust me. That's a true fact.
I would not doubt it, actually.
Yeah.
All right,
man. I think this has officially got off the rails. It's time to wrap this up. And I think with that,
there's only one thing left to say.
Go Hawks!
Go Hawks! Thanks for tuning in to our show. The Seahawkers podcast is hosted on Libsyn.com. If you're thinking about starting your own podcast, visit Libsyn.com, Libsyn.com, and use promo code SHP to get free podcast hosting for the rest of this month and all of next month. That's promo code SHP. Visit Libsyn.com, use your promo code. Go Hawks!